Hello everyone, we've been talking a lot about leptin as a very underrated hormone for our body in terms of registering how much energy we have, making metabolic decisions, and ultimately controlling how well your body heals and how well you create energy. So the last thing I want to talk about is the how-to, and this is getting to lunch. So I have a few recommendations to get the most possible benefit to regulate your leptin and make sure that you do have all the energy that you want and you can go through an effective healing process. So first tip, again, you want to get a good shot of protein here so we can continue to make sure we have good energy and your body has the building blocks to do the healing necessary. So a good rough estimate is if you can get 25 grams of protein or maybe even a little bit more, that sets a really nice tone for that lunch. The other thing here, and this is probably the biggest thing, is the majority of your carbs for the day eat at lunch. There's a few different reasons for this. The first one is the big one we've been talking about, which is our body has this natural circadian rhythm where we're really looking to energize and activate during the day. And the peak of that activation is happening around midday. That's our natural cycle. Cortisol is at its highest. Your body's kind of in full swing at that point. So carbohydrates fit in really nicely here because, again, carbohydrates will stimulate the most the cortisol and the insulin, but again, that's in good rhythm here. So those two things match up really nicely if you're getting most of your carbs here at lunch. The other cool thing is that UV light actually helps us digest our carbohydrates. So UV light penetrates our skin, it gets to our mitochondria, it switches on certain metabolic cues for us that allows us to digest carbohydrates the best. And it makes sense, right? The equator naturally has the most sunlight, the most fruits, all those things growing. So as we were evolving as human beings, those two things worked in conjunction with each other. Same thing, the areas that have the lowest UV typically have the less natural carbohydrates available. So you're thinking, Arctic Circle, there's not fresh berries and tropical fruit all year round. So again, these two things kind of came together as we were evolving as human beings. So the takeaway there is UV light can also help you digest your carbohydrates. So if you can get outside around lunchtime or right after you eat, that's a really good balance that, again, helps you keep in good rhythm and maintaining that nice metabolic balance. So those are the three big tips for lunch. Try to eat most of your carbs at lunchtime. If you can get outside to get that UV light, even better. And then lastly, if you can get the 25 grams of protein, that sets a nice tone for the day. So let me know if you have any questions on leptin. We've done breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We've done that background. Again, the big thing I want you to understand is that it is really important. So if you've been struggling with low energy, if you've had a chronic health issue that's been going on for longer than 3 to 6 months, this is one that gets left on the table a lot, and a lot of people are struggling with it, don't even necessarily realize it. So again, play around with it, see what works for you, and keep those tips in mind.